Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must see show on YouTube today. Hello, friends of Ridiculously Over. Good brother Anthony Floyo here with you, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher from the Cerebral Smack Talk. We've also got the Twisted Angel and the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Woodson. Not sure where our fourth panelist is, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Um, Normally, we would have Raw chats, but um, but for some odd reason, we did not have one this evening. I don't know where he is. Usually he's usually good about letting us know um, where he usually is. Usually, messages me if he's gonna be late to the show or if he's gonna be out of a raw chat and the whole 9 yards. But man alive. But if he joins us, he joins us. If he doesn't, he doesn't. So we'll if he does join us, we'll catch him up on what he missed. So oh boy, my goodness, another solid and newsworthy Monday Night Raw. I mean, WrestleMania taking shape off the heels of an unbelievable Fastlane pay per view last night. Big ups to SmackDown Live. Very good show. I'm hopeful that the impending snowstorm that is going to be hitting our area um, in a short or so will not affect Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow night. Because on that show we're gonna review both Fastlane and SmackDown Live, so that's a double whammy right there, but in a good way. And we can take our time tonight, folks, because my my work is closing down tomorrow, obviously because of the big snowstorms. So I'll be home tomorrow, so that means we don't have to rush through this show like we've been doing the last month or so. We can actually relax. We can take our time. So that's what we're gonna do here tonight. We're gonna try to go as in depth as we can with some of these. Of course, there will be cutouts, obviously, but it is what it is. So let's get into Monday Night Raw tonight. It was live from the brand new Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan, the home of the Detroit Red Wings of the NHL and the Detroit Pistons of the NBA. And later this week, it'll actually be hosting some NCAA tournament games coming up. So we talked about that last night. So without any further ado, let's start it off. Yeah, General Manager Kurt Angle in the ring. I thought he was going to talk about his mixed tag team match with him and Ronda Rousey going up against the Authority, but no, he actually addressed the Universal Championship situation. We were initially supposed to have a face-off with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, but Kurt Angle informed us all that Brock Lesnar would not be at the show tonight. And that brought out the big dog, Roman Reigns. And oh boy, Roman. Ooh. Roman was not happy. That's all I can say about that. Roman was absolutely livid. And man alive, he went off. He went there, as they say, as we usually say during SmackDown Live. But he went there here tonight on Raw, talking about, the business and going after Lesnar and saying that there's no repercussions on him because he's Vince's boy and busting his what every day of the year, because we all know they do. I mean, they bust their behinds over 300 days a year to be away from their families to ply their craft in that ring. That's what they do, and Roman's no different. And then he brought up Vince McMahon, and then he went to the gorilla position and went right at Vince McMahon, and you notice Shane O'Mac was there too. He's not just all about SmackDown Live. He actually works behind the scenes on Monday Night Raw. Little known fact, but he does. So, whoa, Nelly. Okay. I have every right to call this the segment of the night, but I just can't quite do that. I got to say this was the second best segment of the night. If there was one other segment later in this show that I thought was just a smidgen better, but this was an unexpected twist with Vince McMahon being brought into this storyline, which is only appropriate considering Vince is the one who's, shoving Roman down our throats and, trying to get him over as a babyface. Yeah, how's that been working for you, big boy? Not been working for you. Now, Brock Lesnar worked the house shows in Chicago and Minneapolis, so everything involving him not showing up as advertised is storyline driven. if Lesnar does not appear, you have to feel bad for any fans in Detroit who attended the show with the sole purpose of their highest priority is seeing the Universal Champion. Now, when MF Bullock and I went up to Monday Night Raw in Providence back in December, who was there? Brock Lesnar. We got to see Brock Lesnar. We got to see Paul Heyman. I mean, that was a blessing for us. That was one of the many things that made that night an unforgettable night. That, and of course, the Women's Royal Rumble announcement. But that's a story for another day. But you got to feel for those fans in Detroit. I mean, don't get me wrong, Detroit. You put on a great show tonight. It wasn't the greatest show, but you put on a solid and newsworthy show, and you should be proud. I mean, I know you probably want, there are probably some of those fans who want refunds because of the fact that they only went just so they could see Brock Lesnar. So they're going the shoot work here. That's what they're doing here. But nonetheless, we're going to get it eventually. And Vince McMahon said that Brock Lesnar was going to be on Monday Night Raw in Dallas next week. I'll believe it when I see it. Vinnie Mac says, you have my word. I could say that his word is not worth you know what, but it's Vince McMahon, for goodness sakes. Say what you want about him, but he's given us his word that the Beast is going to be there in Dallas next week, then we got to take his word at face value. So, and one more quick other thing. They actually went into Vince's office. They had a heated exchange. Renee Young was trying to get an interview with Roman. Roman just stormed off, but she did get an interview with the boss, and Vinnie Mac, basically, told her what happened, and because of the lack of respect that Roman Reigns showed him, Roman Reigns has been temporarily suspended. Now, we don't know how long this temporary suspension is. Probably maybe a week, maybe 2. I don't know. This depends. So I'm guessing that Roman will not be at Monday Night Raw in Dallas next week. Brock Lesnar will be. Who knows? This could be a great chance for Heyman and Lesnar to give us their rebuttal for all this. But nonetheless, I mean, Roman, I know his mic work in the past has been awful. We all remember the infamous Suffer and Succotash moment, which became a viral sensation here on YouTube, but he's come a long way since that infamous Suffer and Succotash. Let me tell you that right now. So he just keeps getting better and better. So say what you want about the big dog, but his promos lately have been so much better these last few weeks. Second best segment of the night for me. One other segment I thought was a smidgen better. You might know where I'm going with this. So good old MF, Michael Fletcher, come on in. I mean, another week, another Lesnar no-show, and Roman, ooh, big dog was growling.
Yeah, and you know what? And this was as solid as you could do it because of the fact that with Roman Reigns, they're making him authentic. They're presenting him in a way that we've never seen before. I like this new Roman Reigns. I like him being with passion, with fire. He doesn't feel robotic. He doesn't feel, like a corporate puppet. And that's also another thing that I'm also starting to notice is that he's against the authority. He's going up against Vince McMahon. McMahon is really holding Brock Lesnar and saying, well,
Oh, and that you're not having issues again, are you? This happened quite a bit during our Selection Sunday show last night, but hopefully we can get it back up and running. But in the meantime, Edie Woodson, I'm going to bring you in. Give us your thoughts on this opening segment. I mean, another week, another Lesnar no show, and Big Dog was growling here tonight.
And Big Dog had a lot of very valid points. And I'm sure just about everybody would agree with his points. And the biggest one being, show it, you get fired. Am I right? Yeah. So yeah, I think he had a lot of valid points right there. And then he's taken back there, and he's the one who ends up being reprimanded. Excuse me, Vince McMahon. I think you got that backwards, because you're punishing the guy who shows up every week compared to the guy who is only appearing until he can get his UFC match finalized. And also has failed how many drug tests now? Excuse me, I think you need to get your brain on straight. Yes, this was the second best segment of the night. Yes, I think we both know which one actually is the segment of the night. But yeah, I could really rant right now on Mr. McMahon for what he did to Roman Reigns, because I think it's a bit unfair, because Roman had so many valid points, and this is the second time Lesnar has chickened out, and I'm not changing my lingo on that. He has chickened out on a face-to-face with Roman Reigns. Mr. Lesnar, go grow you a set of them and get your butt out there on a night when Roman Reigns is actually out there, because we already know he probably more likely will not be in Dallas because of the BS Vince did tonight. So I expect to see you on the next couple of shows, Mr. Lesnar. So get your butt out there and start doing your job. Not much more I have to say about it. Fletch is back, so Fletch is yours.
MF, are you? I just want to make sure if MF is fully back in, and then we can, I know we probably wanted to continue with the train of thought. All right, MF, if you're back, let's have you go on with your train of thought.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's been going on lately. It seems like my net's been acting up. It seems, I don't know. It's like once in a rare while it'll go and then it cuts me. I don't know what's going on. I was gonna piggyback off what Dee Dee was saying, and she's absolutely right about her saying, all the stuff about Vince McMahon and why you reprimanding Roman Reigns where you should be going after Brock Lesnar. And I get all that, but I also like the fact that they're doing it this way, because instead of it being a legit problem, they're catering it as a storyline now. So it's not like Brock no-showed. It's that they probably told him, we don't need you. We got nothing for you this week. You don't have to be on Monday Night Raw. So all of a sudden, they've been giving him fight. He's fought in Chicago. He's fought, I think it was in like Dallas. He fought against The Miz. So he's having matches. He's doing house shows now. And they're catering those dates instead of doing Monday Night Raw. So they're giving Roman all the ammunition, all the heat, all the fire, and they're saving them for WrestleMania. You already know it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. But the way that they're incorporating this, the way that they're using this, and the aspect of it, I like it. I like that Roman's really mad. I like the fact that Roman is going off script. It feels like he is going off script. It doesn't feel like Roman is, this is a different Roman Reigns. And that's what I like, is that I want an authentic Roman Reigns. I want him to be that kind of guy. If he's mad, show that anger, show that rage, show that attitude, saying, this corporate thing sucks. You're kissing butt to a guy who's a part-timer, who's your Universal Champion, while we're busting our rear ends entertaining for fans, not only in the United States, but around the world, 300 nights a year. I'm away from my daughter and my wife to fight for what I do best, put money on, to get the money so I could put food for the table to provide for my family, yet Brock Lesnar can't show up for Monday Night Raw tonight? Give me a break. So I love this aspect of Roman Reigns just going in on not only WWE, but especially Vince McMahon. To go in on him it really makes me like, man, that's awesome. Now, like, I get it. The fans are gonna boo, they don't care because it's Roman Reigns. And everybody knows that Vince McMahon is really high on Roman, but they're trying to incorporate this like that. No, he's not on Roman's side. We'll wait and see what happens there. Michael Bullock, come on in. We just started with just the first part, which is Roman Reigns' in-ring promo.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I thought this to me was the segment of the night here. I mean, basically, of course, like you said, Kurt Angle was talking about. Of course, before that, he was talking about amping the mixed tag team match, then informing everyone that the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar wasn't in the house. Well, that prompted the big dog.
You have one of those portable chargers.
Yeah, sorry about that. Was just interrupted there for a moment. So anyway, yeah, Roman Reigns, like you said, it prompted him to come out and boy howdy, I mean, this was Roman Reigns. I mean, he was basically going off script, and I'll tell you this, guys. I mean, Roman Reigns is continuing to get better and better with his promos every time. I mean, Roman Reigns, basically brought up, hey, Brock Lesnar is Vince's boy, and basically saying, you know what, Vince McMahon was disrespecting me by not having the guts to say it to my face that Lesnar wasn't going to be there. So he basically goes back there and confronts him. And, well, after that, of course, you saw after the commercial, Vince McMahon said that Lesnar will be there, but Roman Reigns has been temporarily suspended. So, man, I mean, you talk about going off script here. I mean, this was something I really enjoyed it, and I think it adds more fuel to the matchup, to the Universal title match. So, segment of the night, Dee Woodson, your thoughts on this segment? And did she already talk about it?
Yeah, because MF had a brief technical difficulty, so
all right,
median, so she already gave her thoughts.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so we're all set. I let it off. So, yeah, very interesting to see what happens with this. I mean, they're obviously going to overuse the shoot aspect of this, but I thought the execution played well, and they're playing the babyface Roman as the hardworking, always here man of the people. It's in some people's eyes it's failing, but not in our eyes. But he's still getting. It's only because he's still getting largely booed, and the crowd popped for his quote unquote suspension. So, and when you think about it, WWE scripting Brock to not show up so Reigns of all people can accuse Brock of being Vince's boy is next level trolling. So that's really all we can say on that. So let's just move on to our first match of the night. It was a women's match. We had Sasha Banks squaring off against Absolution member Sonya Deville. Sasha Banks wins the match in 7 minutes and 33 seconds via the Banks statement. Keep in mind, Bayley was reluctantly in Sasha's corner. And, of course, Sonya had her Absolution sisters, Paige and Mandy Rose, with her. But Sasha picks up the win, but then ended up paying for it. Absolution laid her out. Bayley walked off after the match was over. And a very interesting aspect, a huge announcement that we're going to make regarding regarding something with the women at WrestleMania. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But for right now, MF, as we started off with you here, 7.5-minute bout here. Sasha gets the best of Sonya in the match, but in the end, it was Absolution who stood tall.
Yes, indeed. And, I'm going to say it, fair enough. Decent fight. Yeah, I could probably say about 2.5 stars. And, yeah, Sasha got a big victory. Congratulations to her. Well done. Nice matchup. Nothing more to say about it. But you notice the friction is still there. It's getting even worse by the minute between Sasha Banks and Bayley. Bayley is really, really, really like. I think this time around, I think it's going to be Bayley who's going to turn on Sasha. You could feel it. You sense it. I think because of the fact that Sasha turned on Bayley when it came to the Elimination Chamber, that I think Bayley is like, enough is enough. And, you've done this to me too many times, and I've always been that trusting friend, and I've always stuck by you. Not anymore. You really broke my heart when you stabbed me in the back at Elimination Chamber. We were supposed to work together to take out Alexa Bliss, and you backstabbed me, and you led me to end up getting eliminated in that fight. And that's why she said never again. All of a sudden, you're starting to see Bayley basically give Sasha a taste of her own medicine. All the times that I've had my back, every time I try to be there for you, you've always you either stood by me, but I never knew if I could ever trust you. Now all of a sudden, Sasha's getting jumped. She's staying beaten up, and Bayley's nowhere to be found. So it's very clear she is out for herself. She is definitely not on the side of Sasha like she used to be. And this is very, very telling. How much more can this happen before something has to give? We're getting at the point where something will have to give. And, we're on a collision course and a possible showdown at WrestleMania. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but this is going to be very interesting to watch, very interesting to see. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it about 2.5 stars on the match. I mean, I thought it was solid for what it was. Nice win for Sasha Banks, but as soon as the match was over, Bayley just left ringside, and basically Absolution just basically beat the crap out of Sasha Banks, and Bayley never came back. So obviously Bayley is still fuming over the fact that Sasha stabbed her in the back at Elimination Chamber. Like, we were supposed to take out Alexa Bliss together, and then you go and do this to me? Well, as the old saying goes, payback is I'm not going to say it. I think you guys know what I mean. So there's still some friction there. And like I said, I think Bayley's going to be the one that ends up turning heel. I know some people want Sasha Banks to turn heel, but I think it's going to end up being Bayley. So what kind of a role will these two have at WrestleMania? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So 2 to 2.5 stars is my rating. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Dee Woodson, are you there?
Well, she's still there, but
yeah, I'm here now.
All right. I thought we lost you there for a moment.
Well, I temporarily stepped out of the room because my 2 cats ran out of the bedroom. So,
oh boy, Callie and the other cat really causing trouble there.
Yeah, Callie and Tiger are causing some issues tonight. So, they're back in here. They're supposed to be in here for the night, and they decided that they were going to sneak out. So, they're back now. So. All right, so we're on the first match.
Yes, we're on the
Sasha Banks
yeah.
and Sonya Deville.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it probably about a 2 stars. It was, it was pretty good. I've always said that Absolution was stronger than the Riot Squad, and DeVille certainly showed that tonight. And we're still seeing the possible turn of Bayley on Sasha Banks. So I'm sure you guys probably said a lot on this, so I'm not going to say too much more on it. So I'll toss over the Florio.
Solid 2-star match. I mean, I like that Bayley was out there paying back Sasha for saving her last week, and then once that was done, she said screw it and left. As far as the match was concerned, it was largely okay, but far from exciting. So solid 2 stars here. Hall of Fame induction time. We announced the newest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2018, and it is the newest member of the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. And to the surprise of no one, it's Kid Rock. Kid Rock named as the celebrity inductee in the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2018. While his song New Orleans is setting the tone for the party atmosphere that WrestleMania 34 is bringing to the Big Easy this year, Kid Rock will be taking his place in WWE history. As first reported by Billboard.com, Kid Rock will join the WWE Hall of Fame Celebrity Wing as a member of the class of 2018. He'll be inducted into the Hallowed Hall on Friday, April 6th in New Orleans during WrestleMania 34 week in the Big Easy. He joins Bill Goldberg, the Dudley Boys, Ivory, Jeff Jarrett, Hillbilly Jim, and Warrior Award recipient Jarius J.J. Robertson, among those being honored that night. Kid Rock's musical career is legendary. After breaking into the mainstream music scene in the late 90s with songs like Ball with a Ball and Cowboy, the Detroit native has gone on to sell more than 26 million albums. His unique blend of rap, rock, and country music has helped him transcend genres and become one of the most popular recording artists going today. His in-your-face style in the studio and on stage has made Kid Rock a big contributor to the soundtrack of the WWE Universe. Several of his songs have been the official themes for WWE pay-per-view events, including Cocky at the 2002 Royal Rumble and the worldwide hit All Summer Long as part of the 2008 Backlash. Kid Rock's music has also been entrance music for a select few superstars. The Undertaker used the 2000 single American Badass as he thundered to the ring on his motorcycle, while Kid Rock's cover of ZZ Top's hit Legs blared through arenas around the world as the lovely Stacy Keibler made her way to the squared circle. He's even brought his incomparable live show to WWE on several occasions, including a May 2000 episode of Monday Night Raw. Of course, that too long performance at the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania that overstayed its welcome, but nonetheless, it was still a stellar performance at the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, and a show for our armed forces during the 2012 edition of WWE's Most Patriotic Night of the Year tribute to the troops. For his huge contributions to the sound of WWE, Kid Rock will receive the great honor of induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. So, on behalf of all of us here at Ridiculously Raw, we want to send out our congratulations to Kid Rock for being named the celebrity inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. I know I speak on behalf of all of us. I'm not gonna waste your guys' time on this. So that's all we can say on that. So Kid Rock. Now, you want to talk about entertaining aspects of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony? What do you think his induction speech is going to be like? Whoa, that's all I can say on that. Something out of the ordinary is going to go down when he's around. So, oh boy, get ready for some major fun on induction night. So with all that being said, let's move on now to our next segment. We had a Miz TV segment, and with the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, The Miz, and he had 2 guests tonight. And ironically, it's the 2 men that he will be defending his Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against at WrestleMania in the Triple Threat match: the King Slayer, Seth Rollins, and the extraordinary man who does extraordinary things, Finn Balor. So, I mean, nothing more to set up here. So, Michael Bullock, let's start with you here. Miz TV with Miz, Balor, and Rollins, and let's just say we got an early preview of what this triple threat at WrestleMania is going to be like. And later on, Finn Balor goes one-on-one with Seth Rollins. We'll talk about that in a little while here. So, Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on the Miz TV segment first with Miz, Balor, and Rollins.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was a good Miz TV segment here. I mean, the interaction with both of these competitors talking about the match at WrestleMania, the triple threat for the Intercontinental title, and obviously the Miz trying to stir things up. And yeah, I mean, obviously things didn't go so well when it comes to that. So yeah, so this is an intriguing matchup come WrestleMania. I mean, do I think the Miz's reign as Intercontinental Champion is going to come to an end? Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it could, but the only question is who does he lose the title to? Does he lose it to Seth Rollins or Finn Balor? So I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I thought it was a good segment overall, so I really got nothing more to say on it. So Dee Woodson, your thoughts on the Miz TV segment?
It was a good segment. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it was very interesting to see Rollins and Balor, of course, going at it. But even more surprising is actually seeing them on with Miz being his two opponents. So will Miz lose at WrestleMania? We'll have to wait and see. There is a chance with these two, especially since Balor has proven that he can beat both of these guys. So we'll just have to wait and see to what happens. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yes. Nothing left for me. Nothing really much here. It was a good and fun segment with Miz being, that manipulative heel there. He was a blast, Miz. He was a blast here with both Balor and Rollins seeing through his attempted manipulation, only to have Miz get exactly what he wanted out of the segment anyway. And the Rollins cheap shot at the end was a very nice touch, as the story is much more compelling when it's every man for himself, rather than two buddy baby faces challenging one heel. So I would say maybe third best segment of the night. This was a good segment, but of course the Roman segment that opened it, and of course the other big segment that I know we're all going to have a lot to say on it, especially myself and Bullock. So nothing really to say here. So third best segment of the night here. We'll get into that Rollins and Balor fight a little bit later on here on Ridiculously Raw. So nothing more to say here. So MF, Miz, Balor, and Rollins on Miz TV. And oh boy, let's just say we got a little sample of what Mania is going to be like.
Yes, indeed. Not bad, solid, like everybody else is saying. I'm not gonna waste too much more time, so let's just move on, guys.
Okay, very well. And coming up here, we do have a cutout segment here. It was supposed to be Raw Tag Team Champions The Bar squaring off against the Miztourage, but then they went after the Bar, and then all hell breaks loose. Out come the Revival, out come Rhino and Heath Slater, Titus Worldwide, and the Good Brothers. And then they went on to announce that on this show tonight, we're going to have a tag team battle royal, and the winning team will go on to face the Bar for the Raw Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. So, oh man, it's possible that WWE's gonna, it looks like they're going with a big multi-team, get everyone on the show bout. So that's all I can say on that. So we'll talk about that later on. Okay, are we ready for this? free agent, John Cena. What was he going to do with his road to WrestleMania after coming up short last night at Fastlane? Coming up just short for the WWE Championship. Of course, AJ Styles successfully defending. Dream match intact with him and Shinsuke Nakamura. Praise God. So, as far as this is concerned, John Cena, he said that, I'm not going to fight at WrestleMania. I'm going to sit with you guys. I'm going to enjoy it as a fan. And then he went into the crowd and did a "This is awesome" chant and did a "Let's go Roman" chant. And, and then he pointed out that it wouldn't affect his standing at WrestleMania since he was buying a ticket. But then he says, and then you know what happened? He said, "Screw it. I challenge The Undertaker to a fight at WrestleMania." That just endeared him. Yep, no doubt about that. But then what happens next? Ooh. You want to talk about Roman going there with Brock Lesnar? John Cena went there with Taker. He's like, "I challenge him." He's like, "Hello, mic's still on." And then he opens up. He's like, "Taker, stop hiding behind your lame excuses. You're not old. You're not washed up. You're not broken down." He said, "Hey, if you weren't broken down, you wouldn't be posting workout videos on your wife's Instagram. The only person stopping this match from happening is you self-centered, conceited egomaniac." And then he told the fans, he's like, "All right, if I have to feed your ego to get the match with you at Mania, I'll do it." So he went to the crowd. Do you want to see Undertaker whoop my ass at WrestleMania? Do you want to see me get tombstoned by him in front of 75,000 strong in the Superdome? And he's like, "Ball's in your court, dead man. Time to see if you're still alive. If I were you, I know what I would do. I would want one more match." Dropped the mic and walked out. Didi wasn't. If this is not the segment of the night, I don't know what the hell is.
This is definitely the segment of the night. I mean, heck, I would have liked to have been the guy who got the stand right next to him that he took the drink of the beer from. I mean, heck, that was cool. I mean, how many times do you see Cena actually go and hang out with the fans like that? And here he's talking about, "I'm going to go sit next to this guy over here at WrestleMania and party," and then decide to go into the ring and challenge Taker, which, by the way, I did tweet to WWE to please let this match happen, because I'm one of the ones I would love to see Taker and Cena go at it. Not because of Cena, but just because of the fact that I'd like to see Taker in one more match, and this would be another dream match. I mean, we already have one dream match, AJ and Nakamura. Let's have a Raw dream match with Cena and Undertaker, although both of these guys technically are supposed to be on SmackDown or came from SmackDown, but doesn't matter. But yes, this is definitely the segment of the night. Definitely was a very fun segment to watch. The crowd was definitely in this segment. Heck, he even led the chant himself of "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," that we usually hear. I mean, he was really into it. And of course, when he did try to do the Roman Reigns chant, the crowd, of course, didn't really get into that. But then he did mention also in his promo that Roman was suspended. So, I mean, he brought up a lot of valid points. It isn't WWE holding this match back. It's Taker holding the match back. And, Taker's not 100%. He's getting up there in age, but he has proven up to this point he can still hold his own. So, I know if this match happens, we have one other very happy panelist that would love to see Taker out there again for another match. So, you know, I'm game for it. All the universe is game for it. So let's let it happen. So, not much more I have to say about it. Flory, I'm going to toss it over to you.
Yes, indeed, Didi. You're absolutely spot on. This was indeed the segment of the night, far and away. I mean, wow. I mean, very good promo by Cena, and the crowd was completely behind the idea of seeing Taker and Cena. I mean, wow. This was a great promo segment. I love when John Cena gets all wild and fired up. In many ways, I think that the match is too little too late, and that a lot can go wrong with it. But this was a great, fired up, and passionate promo from John Cena here. I mean, sometimes I actually apply, John Cena's wild and fired up lifestyle into my own lifestyle. I'll be honest. I mean, I can get like John Cena at times. I mean, he inspires me in my everyday life. I'll be honest with you, especially when he gets all excited about it. I mean, he has been inspiring me in ways that I can't even imagine. And once upon a time, MF was our version of John Cena. I mean, he did a great Cena, but I think he's moved on to more of the Randy Orton lifestyle, where I've pretty much, become the new John Cena here. So, I mean, I love that fire. I love that intensity. I mean, I bring that with me to into my everyday life, like I mentioned. So, and I think I've become a better man for that, to be honest. And I got John Cena to thank for that. I mean, my soldier up lifestyle, he's one of the main reasons why I've adapted to that over the last several months. So, and what John Cena did out there, that's exactly what I would have done if it was me. So, man alive, that was hella fun. The only thing that would have made that better is if Taker would have shown up. But the dirt sheets that I've been reading are saying that they want to have these guys, build up their feud on SmackDown Live, which would be a major benefit to MF and SmackDown Live. If that doesn't help the ratings, I don't know what in the world will. So, but man, Cena brought it. I mean, he went after Taker, and he went there. Just like Roman did with Lesnar, Cena went there. So, to some, it's too little too late. But for me, hey, if we're finally going to get it, let's all be excited for it. I mean, Didi Whitson, you're one dream match off. We actually have another dream match on WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair and Asuka. That's technically a dream match in my book. So if we can get Cena and Taker to put pen to paper, think about it. We've got 3 dream matches at WrestleMania. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura for the title. Charlotte and Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title. And think about this. You add Cena and Taker to that. 3 dream matches plus everything else that they're stacking this card with. You thought WrestleMania 30 in the Superdome was the greatest? 34 could actually top it. Never thought I'd say that, but it's on its way. So, like Cena said, ball's in Taker's court. Been posting those workout videos. He's looking like he's in phenomenal shape. So, let's make it happen. We've been waiting for this for how long now? Forever and a day. I mean, we were originally supposed to have this at 32, but Cena was injured. If Cena wasn't injured, we would have had this at 32. So, I don't know. We'll see. But make no mistake about it. You add Cena and Taker to this loaded WrestleMania card, 30's in a lot of trouble when it comes to greatest WrestleMania of all time, because this could top it. That's all I can say there. So, segment of the night. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. MF, I mean, you're our original John Cena. You know, I've pretty much taken that reign from you now that you've adapted to the Orton lifestyle. But nonetheless, I mean, oh my God, this was unbelievable segment of the night. He went there, man. He went there.
He called out Taker and went for the jugular. He talked about the workout videos and that was posting on Michelle McCool on the Instagram and the whole 9 yards. And yeah, it got serious. The play is on. And, you know, you got to do, there's always those daring things that you need to do to get to Taker. And normally when you call Taker out, you got to do something drastic. It has to be something out of right field, something that is unbelievable, and something that's going to make us say, wow. Well, they're going for it. This is the big one. And don't get me wrong. I like where Cena's going. I think he could do it's a really good decision. I like where he's going. And to really throw Taker under and to try to grind the gears in the whole 9 yards. Now, Taker is one of the best. You're gonna have to do something more than that, Cena. Look, you can say all you want, say the ball's in the court, the whole 9 yards, but we all know you got to do something more drastic. And let me tell you, he went for it. He's going for it. This is one of those things that he called out Taker once, said it's never going to happen. Then, basically, he's called him out again. Second time. And we got to wait and see how this plays out. All I know is one thing and one thing for sure. WrestleMania is known as the showcase of the immortals. And we got two immortals who was made at WrestleMania. The Undertaker's legacy and legend began at WrestleMania 7. You could probably say his defining moment was at WrestleMania 13 when he won the WWF Championship from Psycho Sid. And then, of course we know about the streak. And that's WrestleMania lore. But John Cena, his coming out moment was WrestleMania 20 when he beat the Big Show for the United States title. He was solidified immortal 1 year later when he won the WWE title for the first time in his career at WrestleMania 21 over JBL in the City of Angels in Los Angeles, California. Since that day, these two men has been on one of the greatest runs in WrestleMania history. And you wonder, you have a feeling of what is the legacy, what is going to happen now that, with everything on the line. Like I said, it needs to be something more, something bigger, because right now, just that I don't think is enough to get Taker out. To say something about, that you're doing workout videos on your wife's Instagram, fine, nice shot, but that's not enough. You really want to put Taker out? You really want to bring the dead man out? And to make this a WrestleMania to remember? I know what you should do, Cena. You want to make this the biggest ever? Here's what I propose. John Cena versus The Undertaker. WrestleMania career ending match. You heard me. Somebody's career dies at WrestleMania. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Holy moly, that all I could say is I have to say this was co-segment of the night as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's tough to pick one over the other guys. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, John Cena. I mean, he said he was. You know what? I'm just gonna go as a fan. And then he said, you know what? I'm gonna challenge the Undertaker to a match at WrestleMania. And he thought that, you know what? It's not the WWE's fault that this is not happening. The only person who's preventing this match from happening is the Undertaker himself. And basically, he went there when he said, you know what? Of course, with everything about the doing the workouts on his wife's Instagram, all I could say is, John Cena, you better be careful what you wish for, because whenever you challenge the dead man, it does not end well. And if John Cena wants a career-ending match, then you know what? The dead man will be gladly to accept that challenge. And John Cena, you are going to a place where you've never been before, and that is buried 6 feet under, because nobody disrespects the dead man. Nobody disrespects the Undertaker. Yes, I may be a John Cena fan as well, but I'm a lifelong Undertaker fan. Florio knows that. Fletcher knows that. Dee Woodson pretty sure knows that. Nobody does that to my man. And if this match does happen, Cena, you're going to get buried 6 feet under, and you will rest in peace. Period. End of quotation. End of statement. Florio, go.
Yeah, buddy.
He went there. Phenom.
Mile high salute. That's all there is to say on that. Oh, man, how do you follow that? Well, I'll tell you how we follow that. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Winner of the match in 14 minutes and 20 seconds. Finn Balor with this counter into a pinning combination to pick up the win here. I got to say, fight of the night here. 3 to 3.5 stars. I mean, this was a good back and forth match with a good finish, showing that Balor had Rollins scouted. I mean, Rollins had the superplex, but Balor rolled him before Rollins could do the deal and got the win. I mean, the broadcast team played up the idea that Balor did his homework by countering that move. It was a good match, and I got a feeling this is not the last we're going to see of these two on Monday Night Raw. Maybe we'll see we might get a rematch between these two before WrestleMania, and if we do, my guess is Seth Rollins will even the score in that one. So it was between 14 minutes and 20 seconds to 14 minutes and 50 seconds, but nonetheless, this was the fight of the night for me. 3 to 3.5 stars. These two just work so well together. I still think the Universal match they had at SummerSlam was the best one they've had, but maybe something better down the line. I don't know. So fight of the night for me, 3 to 3.5. So MF, Balor and Rollins, I mean, they work so well together, and tonight was no exception. Great match here.
Yes, indeed, great match, solid fight. You definitely have to say it was better than expected. I think a lot of people expected it to be a good match. It was. Was it the greatest thing out there? No, I'm not gonna say that. But solid fight, good match. Really nothing more to say about it. And I do agree with the 3-star rating. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I give it 3 to 3.5 stars as well. I mean, I thought this was a good match between these two. I mean, they definitely I mean, you wouldn't expect anything else when it comes to these two. So there's really nothing more to say. So, Didi Woodson, I give it to you.
I agree. Match of the night, 3 stars. Um, and it's kind of sad to say, out of all the matches that we had tonight, that the only the second match of the night ends up being the match of the night. Because so far, up to this point, Raw was mainly just segments, and there wasn't very many matches. So about this point, I think is when we actually turn around, we actually get more matches. So definitely match of the night. I enjoyed watching these two. Fans seem to be kind of into this one. It wasn't a major match. It wasn't the best match, but for what it was worth, it was good. So not much more I have to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
All right. I told you we had a special announcement regarding a match at WrestleMania. A few years ago, we were introduced to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal for the men. Now we're going to have one equally special for the women. For the first time ever at WrestleMania, we are going to have the first ever Fabulous Moolah Women's Memorial Battle Royal. MF, I mean, what is there to say? Whoa, Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal?
I mean, it's what you expect it to be. I hope they do this right. I hope they honor the legacy correctly. I don't want no sham. I don't want no garbage like that Miss WrestleMania was in WrestleMania 25. We don't need that. But what we do need is, again, to honor a legend, which was the Fabulous Moolah, and she was one of the pioneers of the women's revolution. She was a pioneer of women's wrestling. Now, there's some people out there that has actually gone on record, and there's some people on the internet that's actually slamming this. And the thing is, they're not slamming the match, they're not slamming the idea, but they're saying that as a matter of fact, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to say it, and I might get some heat for this, but some people are saying that Fabulous Moolah and her wrestling does not really exemplify the women's revolution or what WWE stands for today. Now, that was a couple of fans out there, not me. I'm not going to say that, but some fans out there really said that, you could have picked a different person like Sherry Martel, or you could have honored, another wrestler other than the Fabulous Moolah. Because of the fact that we already got the Mae Young Classic, Mae Young probably would have been the better representation than the Fabulous Moolah. I don't know. That's kind of a gray area, and I don't want to go there, and I'm going to leave this one well enough alone. But to think about it, think about the names that could be in this match, and think about the people that we just saw at the Royal Rumble that maybe they might contact again to bring them back one more time to get into the ring and possibly fight for this huge honor. Because I know a Trish Stratus could jump in on this. Alita could get. We could see the Bella Twins come back one more time and fight for the honor. Molly Holly could come back. You don't know. Of course, you're gonna hear some people that would like to see Victoria, maybe a Candice Michelle. Obviously, Michelle McCool probably will be back. You would hear people like maybe see Layla here, Ember Moon, NXT, the iconic duo. Billy Kay and Peyton Royce from NXT show up, Kairi Sane from NXT, because this opens the door for every single female wrestler in WWE NXT to jump in on this one fight. Now, this could be 30 people. We don't know. Possibly it will be that, because that's how many it was for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. It's probably going to be the same thing. But this time, unlike the Royal Rumble, it's everyone in the ring and you just go. Let them have their moment. Let another monumental moment, another breakthrough moment, another glass ceiling shattering moment for the women of wrestling. And that's what this is. They continue to break barriers and break things that has never been broken before. And it all started about a year or so ago, and it continues to thrive. And that's why it's becoming more and more apparent that the women of professional wrestling are getting their due. They're finally breaking through the walls that men have been going through for a number of years. And there was always that moment of, when are women going to get their shot? And let me tell you, WWE has been breaking those barriers so hard and so fast that it's like we get astonished every single time. Anthony and Mike Bullock and myself, we were there when the Women's Royal Rumble were announced. We had people who is going nuts about that moment. And now here we are again, about to talk about the women getting a fabulous Moolah, Lillian Ellison Memorial Battle Royale, and it's gonna happen at WrestleMania. There is no, is the women possibly going to get an opportunity? Because there was always that doubt about a few years where, was the women going to get a shot at WrestleMania? Not anymore. They are guaranteed a spot at WrestleMania. They are in. It don't get no bigger than this. It is another great moment, and why we tip our caps to WWE, because of things like this. To give moments like this is absolutely amazing. It's honored. It's truly a blessing in a way. And I know for Dee Dee Woodson, because you are the women's expert on our crew, this is probably a really good feeling for you, because of the fact that in your lifetime, you've gotten to see a Women's Royal Rumble, a Women's Elimination Chamber, you got to see a Hell in a Cell, a Last Woman Standing, a Money in the Bank, and now this. This is to pass down to your daughters now. This is their legacy. Their legacy of wrestling is now for the next generation. And that's what I feel like this is. It's almost like for Dee Dee Woodson, for her, because this is her wrestling. This day and age is her wrestling. That I hope it gets passed down to the next generation and beyond and beyond and beyond. Because that's the thing that makes this as good as it is. The golden era of wrestling started way back when, with those two pioneers, which was Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah. And it slowly went into, Luna Vachon's era, to Sensational Sherry, the Rockin' Robin, the Rockin' Wrestling era of Wendy Richter. And, then we had the Orlando Blades era, the early 90s, that 95, 96. Then we had the explosion of the Attitude Era. And then the influx of all those talent coming in to the wrestlers of today. This is a nod. Past, present, and future. Or just like what WWE had always said at the very beginning of their shows when they do that package, and that was the ultimate theme or the mantra of WrestleMania 30. Then, now, and forever. Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
Man, oh man, I mean, the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal, I mean, this is something I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I think this could be better than that god-awful women's Battle Royal that crowned the first ever Miss WrestleMania. I mean, all I can say is, I mean, WWE better not screw this one up. I mean, I want this to be one that, we all will never forget. And I know, I mean, I heard some fans who are saying that they don't like the name, the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Classic, and they're slamming it. Well, to me, and I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it, but to me, whoever said that, it's total disrespectful as far as I'm concerned. Because if it weren't for the Fabulous Moolah, women's wrestling wouldn't be where it is today. I mean, can we all agree on that?
Amen, Bo. You got it.
I mean, she was the pioneer. She was, I mean, her wrestling, I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that, Florio?
Yes, of course, absolutely.
I mean, there's a reason why she won multiple women's titles. And I think this was the perfect name to honor her memory. I mean, yeah, you had the Mae Young Classic. That's good. And this Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal. It's to honor the legacy of, to me, one of the greatest women's wrestler of all time. She's a Hall of Famer, for goodness sakes. And for those people to come out and say that it shouldn't be the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal, you guys don't know anything about women's wrestling as far as I'm concerned. You have no respect for a Hall of Famer like the Fabulous Moolah. So I'm going to enjoy this. And to me, and I'll say this, if you don't like the name, then you know what? Don't watch the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. So, done, finished. Dee Woodson, please, go before I really explode.
Yeah. If you want to know the truth, they keep saying, excuse me, that, Paige and the start of this women revolution all started just recently. If you really want to know when the very first women's revolution started, that started with Mae Young. Or not Mae Young, with Moolah. Because, as they said, she's actually held the title longer than anybody in WWE. She's wrestled men, she's wrestled women, she's wrestled so many people. She's the very first woman in the Hall of Fame. She even had a title when she's in her 70s. I mean, yes, we already have a Mae Young Classic. We don't need two Mae Young memorial anythings. I mean, you have Mae Young, now you have Moolah. These two ladies worked hand in hand so many times, especially in, the years that I was watching when I was a teenager. I mean, you talked about Moolah. There was Mae Young right with her. And you know, she is the pioneer for this divisions for the ladies. And I know, you know, if she was here today, she would be so proud of the leaps and bounds that we have taken these last 2 years with these ladies, having, you know, Hell in a Cell matches, having the ladder matches, having, you know, them go into an elimination chamber, having them do all these matches that
the Women's Royal Rumble match.
Right. Having all these matches that for all these years have been only men's matches. Now we finally have the ladies finally doing the same type of stuff as the guys. We're finally getting, you know, I don't want to sound feminist. I don't want to sound like anything like that. But we're finally getting that equal opportunity here. And, you know, I'm not a feminist. I'm not one of these people who think women are better than men. But we do have the right for the ladies to be able to do the same things as the guys. And, you know, I've done the same song and dance, not just with the ladies, but I've done it with tag team. I've done it with cruiserweight. I've done it with almost every single one of these divisions that they've got, that they single out just the men in, and they forget about the other divisions that they have. Well, finally, we're getting this with the ladies. We're finally starting to get, you know, some things with the tag teams here. Now we need, you know, we just need to keep building on this and making it better. And you know, what better way to honor someone like they did with Andre the Giant than to have a ladies' memorial battle royal, which will guarantee every year, if they can do this every year, it's going to guarantee that we're going to have a ladies' match. You know, yeah, we already have a title match for WrestleMania, Charlotte versus Asuka. But now we have a open match for the ladies, the Battle Royal, that basically is inviting everybody in. Your Mae Young Classic ladies, your NXT ladies, your SmackDown, your Raw, maybe, you know, the Hall of Famers, maybe even people that's from other show or other companies may even come in. We don't know what we're going to see, but I guarantee you the ladies knocked it dead with the other first they've had. They're going to knock it dead and knock it out of the park with this one as well. I mean, there's just so much that can go on with this, and I mean, it's an honor to be, you know, here to see all these first, yeah, and it's an honor that, you know, Fletch was talking about me passing it on to the girls. Well, one of my girls is playing with some of the wrestling figures, just not an appropriate way with a ring. They're playing with them as dolls. But the other one, she actually sat in here for maybe one match and watched one match. Watched a little bit of Cena's speech. And that's my 13-year-old. That's my youngest. So, yeah, we're getting to see this next generation starting to come up and starting to watch. And, you know, that age of 13, as we've seen with all the school shootings and stuff, that's a vulnerable age. You know, Florio's talking about how Cena right now has helped him become a better person. Let's do that with this women's revolution. Let's show these girls, you know, that there is, you know, there is a future. You don't have to go follow this route of the school shootings and the bullies and stuff, you know. I like Nia Jax's storyline right now. I was one of those kids that got made fun of because of my weight, because I wore glasses, because I was slow, because I wasn't like everybody else. And here that they're doing this storyline where, yeah, Miss Bliss is the bully. Mickie James, now falling in that line with her. And Nia Jax, finally showing, this is what happens when you're bullied. This is what you go through. I want to see her come out. Maybe she can be the one who wins this trophy for this. And showing everybody, hey, this is what happens. You go through this all through life. This is what happens in the end. You get rewarded in the end. And that's what I want the girls, young girls, especially the impressionable girls, to see. You can go through life. You can have all these trials, tribulations, but in the end, you're going to get rewarded for doing the right thing. Not much more I have to say about it. Florio, take it.
Oh my goodness! I mean, sounds like you guys are writing a book here. I mean, this is great. I mean, I value all your opinions. Very, very nice. Yeah, I didn't expect it to go that long. I was just expecting a quick thought, but man, that's awesome. So that shows you the legacy of the Fabulous Moolah indeed. And yes, I mean, this is wonderful. I mean, they're going for the gusto here. I mean, it seems like these last few major pay-per-views, going back to the Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble, they went for the gusto. And both of those things delivered in spades. Now we're going for WrestleMania here. 2 dream matches official, 1 on the way with Cena and Taker. You got that, what should be maybe the greatest mixed tag match in WrestleMania history with Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey and the Authority. And now you're throwing in the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal along with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I mean, Andre the Giant was the transcender for the men, and Fabulous Moolah obviously was the transcender for the women. The longest reigning champion in history, men or women. He held that women's title for 28 years before she finally lost it to Wendy Richter in that event at Madison Square Garden in the summer of '84. So, man alive, I mean, you guys touched on everything. I mean, I don't even think I can even follow this. So you left me speechless here, guys, and this is my show. Wow, unbelievable. So you all said everything. So I can't add to that. So
Florio being speechless, that's a first.
Yes, you guys did it. You guys did it. So I salute you all. Well done. So
and you know what? Those people who said those comments had a problem with what me and Dee Dee Woodson had to say. You know what? That's too damn bad.
They can stick it in their ear. That's all they can say on that. So,
or better than that, if they don't like it, then don't watch our show.
Exactly right. So,
because we ain't gonna waste time with ham and egg or jabronis like you two ham and egg or jabronis.
Shape up or ship out. That's all there is to it. So,
and don't forget another thing that you always like to say.
Soldier up.
Exactly.
And my newest, knuckle up. So that's all there is to say on that. So let's get into this now. Speaking of the women, well, you thought that was epic. We're gonna add to this. We had Asuka, because we all know what happened We all know what happened Sunday night at Fastlane. Asuka showed up, despite being under contract to Monday Night Raw. Now remember, you win the Royal Rumble, you don't necessarily have to face your brand's champion at WrestleMania. You get the choice of either brand. And my worst fear became a reality. Asuka jumped ship to SmackDown Live, which made MF, bounce all around like Tigger, like I'm sure he did. He must have been, I think for that one moment, he went back to Cena mode. I think he went out of Orton mode and went back into Cena mode. He was pumping jacked. because he's now got the crown jewel of the women's roster, and Asuka going up against the Queen Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's a dream match right there. I don't care what anybody says. We had my favorite interviewer, Charlie Caruso. Yes, ma'am. She was in there looking amazing, and she brought up Asuka. We were going to talk about going after Charlotte, but then she was interrupted by Didi Woodson's favorite, Alexa Bliss. just having some fun here. Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, right, Florio.
Yep, I'm watching it. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. And man, did they go at it. And they had a nice verbal exchange, and then it led into a match. Asuka one-on-one with Mickie James. Heck, you could call that a dream match, if you will, considering the talent that these two have. I mean, we saw this at that NXT event in Toronto when Mickie came back to the WWE. But anyway, Asuka went up against Mickie James, and Asuka won the match 6 minutes and 35 seconds via submission. So, I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts this off, or is it MF? I mean,
yeah, I think
it's actually me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's actually me because Anthony, you led off on the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royale, and yeah, I do start.
All right, so Asuka and Mickie James. I mean, we all know your history with Mickie James, and he took it to Asuka, but Asuka was just too much as always.
Yeah, as always, she's too strong, she's too powerful, too amazing. I think Alexa Bliss can breathe a sigh of relief now. I think she could exhale. She doesn't have to deal with her. Charlotte Flair, this is what you're getting at WrestleMania. And it's going to be an unbelievable situation because, and this is very telling because now I wonder what's going to happen because is Asuka going to be able to, is she going to be like John Cena? Is she a free agent? Can she jump from one show to another? Because if memory serves me right, Asuka's going for a SmackDown championship, yet she's a Raw individual, I think. So I don't know what's going on. This got me confused because I thought because Asuka has now challenged Charlotte Flair, doesn't that make her automatically SmackDown Live property? I don't get it. I'm confused. It was a good match, nothing bad to say, but we'll wait and see what happens. Yeah, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
And Fletch, don't forget, as you saw in the commercial, she is going to make her first appearance on SmackDown Live tomorrow night.
Oh, yes, she is. No doubt.
Yeah. So, just wanted to bring that up to you. So,
yep.
Yeah. So, what did you give the match?
1 to 1.5 stars.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it about 1 to 1.5 stars for the match. I mean, it was just too short for my liking. I would have loved to see more. But I'll say this. I think their matchup from TakeOver Toronto, I think was way better than this match here. So, yeah, really got nothing more to say. 1 to 1.5 stars. D. Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the rating. Give it about 1.5 stars. It's going to be interesting to see tomorrow her on SmackDown, but then she's going to come right back to Raw and wrestle Alexa Bliss next week. So it's, and from what they said, Fletch, no matter who won, they had their choice of titles. Nakamura had his choice. He could have gone for Raw or SmackDown. He chose SmackDown. Well, Asuka had her choice of Raw and SmackDown. She chose SmackDown, and I like the reason she gave Alexa. And a quote from Ric Flair: to beat the man, or to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, in this case, to be the woman, you got to beat the woman. To be the champion, you got to beat the champion. And in her eyes, Charlotte is the better of the two champions, which I will definitely agree with, especially after the segment that came after this match, or after the next match. Well, both segments technically. So, not much more I have to say about it. So, Floyd, what's yours?
I know I'm overscoring this, but this was a much more competitive match than I thought. I'm actually going to give this, believe it or not, actually going to give this a solid 3. I mean, I thought this was a very good match. I mean, it was more competitive than I expected. And it seems obvious that, we'll get into the other stuff in a minute. But this was a good match with a creative post spot to allow Mickie James to take the heat believably. And from there, everything played out well, and the match was good and fun. The only unfortunate thing is the crowd didn't really care for it. Total disrespect there. But, it is what it is. And then we do have a cutout here. Nia Jax squashing a young lady named Joan King. Squashed her in 47 seconds. Obviously, that's the worst of the night. And then we had this very interesting backstage segment. The camera catching Alexa Bliss and Mickie James with the camera on them and the microphone on for all the world to see and hear. Apparently, I guess they were going to have some sort of an interview. I guess they were going to have an interview with Charlie Caruso, I guess. But what happened here, Mickie and Alexa, talking smack about Mickie James. I mean, talking about Nia Jax, rather, I should say. And, Alexa Bliss just absolutely ran her down. And guess what? Nia Jax heard all of it. And Nia Jax, yeah, she got emotional. Yeah, she teared up. She cried and everything else. But she went from wearing her heart on her sleeve to going into Strowman mode, if you will, because I still consider her the female version of Braun Strowman. And then she heard everything. She ran to that back area. She just went on a rampage, and thank goodness she didn't go after Charlie Caruso, or else I would have lost my mind, because you know how I am about Charlie Caruso. But she easily could have gone after her, easily could have, but she didn't, thankfully. But not Mickie and Alexa got they ran like scalded dogs, like JR would always say. So that's the follow-up from last week, and I think it's safe to say that we're going to have wondering who Alexa Bliss is now going to go for the Raw Women's Championship. Yeah, the good news is you don't have to face Asuka. The bad news is it looks like you're going to have to go up against Nia Jax there, little darling. So, but it will remain to be seen whether they're going to stick with this singles match or if they're going to add others to this. But with the announcement of the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, I think this will be a straight up one-on-one match. I really do. I think it will be Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. So, I mean, at first it seemed like they were going to pretend like the camera wasn't in the room because Charlie never mentioned it and instead spoke about the microphone being on. She eventually turned to the camera and spoke into it, so apparently she could see it. But the Bliss and James were somehow oblivious to it. Or maybe the idea was that they knew the camera was there, but they didn't realize the microphone was on. And I like the way that they are building up Nia Jax as being bullied by heels for being different. And I think that's going to be effective in getting her over as a babyface. I really do. So we're just going to move on from that. A video package aired for the Ultimate Deletion. I thought they were going to do this at WrestleMania, but apparently they're going to do it next week. And we saw all of House Hardy, Queen Rebecca, King Maxwell, Lord Wolfgang, Senor Benjamin, and Vanguard 1. Yes. Oh my goodness. It's going to happen next week. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, the Ultimate Deletion from the Hardy compound. This is going to be fun. It's going to air next week. And that the Hardys were said to be very pleased with the results of the shoot that took place last week in Cameron, North Carolina. So get ready. The Lake of Reincarnation. Senor Benjamin has prepared the battlefield. Vanguard 1 is ready to go. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. Believe that.
And you know what it's going to be, Florio? It's going to be delightful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Get your green beans and get your squish fish patties on a bun ready, boys. That's all I can say. So,
and let's just say Bray Wyatt will get sentenced to deletion. Yeah.
wonderful. So, we're going to have some fun with that next week. Believe that here on Ridiculously Raw. So, main event time. The tag team battle royal for the opportunity at the Raw Tag Team Championship. The Good Brothers, The Revival, Slater and Rhino, Titus Worldwide, Miz Taraj. The Bar came out on commentary. But we had a surprise entrant into this match. Braun Strowman. Yes. And when all was said and done, in 11 minutes and 15 seconds, the winner of the Battle Royal, Braun Strowman. Okay, Michael Bullock, I mean, what does this mean now? Braun Strowman wins this Battle Royal. Is this going to be a handicap match, or is he ultimately going to find a partner to go up against the Bar at WrestleMania for the tag titles?
I really don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's I'm confused. I'm really confused about it. I mean, yes, Braun Strowman wins, but knowing Braun Strowman, I don't think he's gonna want anybody. He wants to take on the Bar by himself. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know if this is going to work. I got a feeling this could be a train wreck or a disaster. I mean, I really don't know. I don't know. D.D. Woodson, it's yours.
Would you rate it?
That's tough for me to say. I don't know. I really don't know what to rate it.
I'm going 2.5 to 2 3/4 on a rating.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give it only 2.
Okay. I mean, the match before they put Strowman in, or before he just kind of barged out there, you know, I don't know how that match would have come out. I mean, you had 5 tag teams out there, and yeah, at least half of them deserve a chance at the Bar for the title. But now you got Strowman in there, and he wins it. So more likely, unless something is said within the next few weeks before WrestleMania, we may be having Strowman facing the Bar. And more than likely, Strowman's going to destroy him. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, there's not much you can say about Strowman being in this match. Strowman just kind of barging out there because he's a one-man wrecking machine. He is a tag team in himself. And, if he had to find a tag team partner, I think the only person that would ever even consider tagging with him would probably be Bray Wyatt. And he's too busy right now with Matt Hardy. So I don't think there's going to be a tag team partner. If this is allowed, it's going to basically be Strowman and the Bar. So we'll just have to wait and see if Stephanie or Angle is going to allow this to happen, or even Vince himself. So not much more I have to say about it. So Florio, take it.
I'll give it about 2.5. That's what I will have. I'll give this about 2.5 for the effort. Perfectly solid battle royal with Braun, destroying everybody and doing Braun things to get onto the Mania card. You want to talk about, possible partners. No Bray Wyatt. I really don't see that happening. Maybe Lars Sullivan from NXT. I think you'd be the perfect choice. And have them run wild for months. But no, Braun Strowman by himself is not eligible, for best tag team, Will he be forced to find a tag partner, or will he fly solo in a handicap match against the Bar? I'm not a big fan of Strowman destroying the already damaged tag team division on Raw. And honestly, this is not what I would do with Strowman at Mania. But if they do decide to go with the handicap, it could be a decent attraction match, and it could be more appealing than a get everyone on the show gauntlet style cluster bleed tag title match. So that's all I can say on that. So I'm going to give it a solid 2.5 for the effort. So MF, what do you make of all this?
I can't really. I'm a little bit at a loss for words as well. I don't understand the logic on Monday Night Raw, especially with your tag team division. You had no tag teams whatsoever. You had the Bar issue this open challenge on social media, and now you throw Braun Strowman and he gets a shot at the tag team titles, and he has no partner whatsoever going in. I think the monkeys showed up on this one. Out of all the storylines, and Monday Night Raw's got a lot of solid storylines, except now your tag team division is literally in a quandary. There is no way I can say this. It's a complete and utter mess. The tag team division is a mess. Everything else is great. But now, Raw, you got yourself an issue. You literally backed yourselves into a corner on this one. I mean, going in, everything looked fine, and now you got a loose end. You got to tighten that up. That's the only nitpick I got on this entire Monday Night Raw thing. Your Intercontinental storyline is great. Your Universal title, solid, strong. You got that going. Your women's title, it looks like we got something now going. Looks like it's going to be Nia versus Alexa at Mania. I'm down with that. You got the women's battle royale. You got the Fabulous Moolah battle royale. That's going to incorporate a lot of the women on Monday Night Raw. You got the Cruiserweight title that's going to be decided at WrestleMania. That's a Raw thing. That will be decided at WrestleMania. So you got a lot of good things going, and now all of a sudden your tag team division just junked the bed. What is this? And you had this closing your show tonight on top of that. You idiots. Oh, man. 2.5 stars for the close of the show. But what on earth? Really? Wow. Wow, you guys got some work to do. That's all I'm saying. Florio, I think you can agree with that. Raw's got some work to do.
Pains me to say it, but you're right. They do have some work to do, especially in that tag team division. Everything else is fine. I mean, we just need something with the tag team division, but it doesn't help when you have Jason Jordan and Dean Ambrose on the injured list. That definitely doesn't help the cause. So, and especially now what just happened with Jeff Hardy. So that's all I can say there. So, overall review, time, Didi Woodson, we're just going to start it with you here. So your thoughts on this solid and newsworthy Monday Night Raw from Detroit Rock City tonight?
Well, I'm going to go back to the segment with Bliss and James. This reminds me of back in the day, and I know of two other companies that also did this, basically the same thing. But tell me if this sounds familiar. You know, having the camera planted backstage I think one of them was in one of the restrooms or something, and they were catching this footage, candid footage of people backstage. I think that's kind of what they went with this, with Bliss and James here, because it was set up to be an interview, so they knew the camera was going to be there. They knew the mic was there. They just didn't know the mic was on. And apparently they didn't know the camera was on. So, seeing the camera in the room, I guess, wasn't that big of a deal because of the fact they were going to have the interview. But it does remind me of those days, going back to WCW. It was Billy Kidman with a camera, or Impact TNA. It was Alex Shelley with the camera, and WWE. You had I think Goldust at one point with the camera because he walked into the NWO locker room playing this part of one of these guys that goes out in the wilderness, doing the shows, wildlife shows type thing. It's just, that's what this segment basically reminded me of, is one of the little hidden camera type segments that they used to do on WWE, and I think they've done it on some of the other shows too. And that was a kind of a cool idea, and it does build this storyline with Nia Jax and what is now becoming the former best friend in Alexa Bliss, who basically admitted what most of us pretty much kind of knew she was doing. She's using Nia Jax because Nia Jax is bigger and she's basically her muscle. And, just like I've said before, a lot of these heel people, they can't win on their own. They have to have help, and that was her help. And now she's got Mickie James as her help. And she even blamed the fact that Mickie had to go up against Asuka for the fact that Nia Jax didn't come out when she cued her and stuff. But yeah, as far as the show itself, I'm going to give it probably about 6 to 6.5 stars. There is some storyline building. There is some stuff leading up to WrestleMania on here. But then you have some stuff here that just doesn't make any sense at all, especially that tag team main event. In fact, the last few main events Raw's had hasn't made a whole lot of sense because they're ending the show on a sour note. You don't want to do that. You want to end the show with something memorable. And yeah, this is memorable, but this is total chaos. Nobody can make heads or tails out of this. Nobody knows what's going to happen, what's going on. It's basically a cliffhanger forcing you to watch next week's show just to find out what we're going to do with Strowman, what we're going to do with the bar. How is management going to handle this? But then again, you also have during the show, you had the announcement of the women's battle royal, the Moolah battle royal. You had, several good promos that led up to, that's leading up to, WrestleMania coming up. And the biggest waste of time, I think, that we had on Raw tonight was the little, if you even want to call it a segment with Elias, where he came out and it like he was going to play the instrument and then he put it down and walked out. Why? What was the purpose of it? That's something, we didn't need to waste that few minutes of time on. But then you have the awesome stuff like John Cena's promo. You have that match with Rollins and Balor. That was really, really good. You had the opening segment that was basically, proving that, Brock Lesnar's not, we can't really trust Brock Lesnar, but then again, you can't really trust Vince McMahon. yeah, he wants to reward Brock because he's been there so long, because he's done this, this, and this, and because he's a UFC guy. Well, UFC really doesn't have anything to do with WWE other than the fact that you have Ronda Rousey that came from it and that he's worked on it. But there's no ties to it. I mean, that doesn't make sense of why you're going to reward a guy for not showing up and punish the guy who does show up. They both have been accused of drugs. They both have failed drug tests. So it's not that. We know that Lesnar's been to house shows, but for some reason he won't appear on Raw. If you are the main title holder, one, you're supposed to be defending the title every 30 days, which they've slid on that lots of times. Two, you should be there to make appearances. You should be there to, especially if you have a big match like we have coming up, you should be there to talk about your match, or at least like he did last week, send Heyman, although that shouldn't have been a main event. Just that's another one of these segments that to me doesn't make sense, just like the tag team thing. It don't make sense. So, Raw, get your heads out of your butts, get the monkeys out of the writing room, and, you're supposed to be the A show, prove it. We had that one, we had the SmackDown Go Home show. That was an A show. This, if I had to actually give it a letter grade, I'd probably give it a D. This there's too much here that just doesn't make sense. There's just no rhyme or reason to it. Yet there is storyline building. Yes, that's one of our biggest arguments we've always had. But now you need to go in. You need to organize what you're doing. You need to set your people straight. You need to get your crap together here and just put on a show that is, as entertaining as John Cena getting out there and doing what he does best, running his mouth, interacting with crowd. So, come on, guys. Work with us. Because I guarantee you, if you put the four of us in that writing room, we probably would have written a hell of a lot better show than what you gave us. That's it. I'm out of here. Good night, guys. See you tomorrow. If there's a show tomorrow.
There you go. If there's a show tomorrow, because we got that nasty storm coming here. So, find out. But 6.5 out of 10 for me. Entertaining and newsworthy edition of Raw. A big negative is WWE advertising Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey in advance and failing to deliver on either. Keep in mind, they told us last week that Ronda was going to be on every Raw leading up to WrestleMania. And it only took them 1 week to go back on that word. It doesn't bother me so much as a viewer of the show, but it's pretty harsh for anyone in the live crowd who paid to see them both. Perhaps one of them will show up for, a segment, like a dark segment or something. I don't know. But while there wasn't a lot of wrestling tonight, we did get 2 matches, some setup for next week, and a strong focus on the build to WrestleMania. It was a perfectly solid show overall. So I'm going to give this a solid 6.5 out of 10 for the night. So, MF, your thoughts on Raw tonight?
I can only go 6 out of 10. I think it was a good, lot of talking segments, which was pretty good. Very limited on action. But I do agree with Dee Dee Woodson. I think the ending kind of was very anticlimactic. It definitely took a bitter taste in the mouth, and it was solid but not spectacular. Let's say that. Michael Bullock, I give it to you quick.
Yeah, I agree. 6.5 out of, I mean, well, 6 to 6.5 is my rating for the show. So yeah, you guys made every point when it comes to the show. So there's really nothing more to say. So Floria, let's get to your Tony steak.
Yes, Tony's Take indeed on 205 Live, which was this past week as we continue on in the Cruiserweight Championship, which will determine the new Cruiserweight Champion at WrestleMania. So let's start it off with our first matchup here. We had Drew Gulak squaring off against Mark Andrews. Winner of the match in I gotta get a time here. Everything going crazy here. I believe it was like 14 and a half minutes or something like that. Well, I'm sorry, I don't have a time of the fall, so I'm just gonna wing it here. Drew Gulak won the match. 3.5 stars. It was a very good match, working the Clash of Styles well and continuing the new Mr. Bob Backlund like Drew Gulak. And no nonsense, Drew Gulak kicks butt, and Mark Andrews was a fun babyface to play off of that. And then we had an unnecessary squash match, Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa against a couple of Hammerneggers. 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I mean, it was a fine squash and likely a test run for a regular tag team moving forward. And then from there, we had Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali in the other match. Mustafa Ali wins that one. 11 minutes and 10 seconds, 3.25 stars. Good match. It was worked differently than the previous bout, and it allowed Mustafa to show a bit more aggression and also that he's more of a high flyer. The attack of the arm was smart and was not only continued, but played perfectly into the finish. Buddy Murphy has made the most of his chance, and considering he was doing nothing in NXT, I'm hoping his call up to 205 Live is a permanent move, if I'm going to be real honest. So that's all I can say there. So about 7.25 for this show. I mean, 205 Live delivered another good episode as the Cruiserweight title tournament continues on with 2 more quality outings. And on top of that, they're seemingly setting the stage for the rumored Cruiserweight tag titles with Itami and Tozawa and the already established Lucha House Party of Kalisto, Lince Dorado, and Grand Metalik. So next week, we got the semifinal matches. Mustafa Ali against Drew Gulak and Roderick Strong against Cedric Alexander. Man alive, but both of those are going to be great. That's all I can say, especially that Strong Alexander match. That's going to be amazing. So nothing really more to say there. So 7.25 for that. Now we're going to talk about Crossroads. Impact Wrestling Crossroads. And my goodness, what a match what a show this ended up being. So let's see. Started it off with the World Tag Team title matchup. LAX against the Cult of Lee. LAX successfully defends the tag team titles in about 13 minutes. 3.25 star fight. Good match to start the show. It was all action, had a great sense of urgency, strong way to kick off the show. And at one point, we had a back-to-back moment here. I believe it was Santana did a tope suicida, and then moments later, Ortiz actually nails Bullock's favorite move, the tope con hilo. I mean, man alive, awesome. So, actually, it was Ortiz actually did the tope suicida, and Santana did the tope con hilo. So, awesome work. Then we had a title for title match. X Division title and Grand Championship on the line. Taiji Ishimori against Matt Sydal. Winner of the match in 16 minutes and 25 seconds. And the double champion. MF, you're going to like this. Matt Sydal, your boy. He did it with the Airborne. 3.5 stars. Very good match. They worked a good pace. Had a nice layout. Did a good job of making you feel that either guy could win. Much like the opener, they had a great sense of urgency. Feeling that they put in a pay-per-view quality effort there. Knockouts title on the line. Laurel Van Ness defending against Ali. Winner of the match in 9 minutes and 2 seconds. And the new Knockouts champion. Allie gets the win. She wins the title. 3 stars. Good match with Allie playing the fired up and fighting with all she has. Babyface role very well. Finally overcoming the odds and winning the title. OVE was supposed to be OVE against Bobby Lashley and Eddie Edwards, but Eddie Edwards was injured. We thought it was going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match, but no. Cage from Lucha Underground teams up with Lashley, and Lashley and Cage win the match in about 10 and a half minutes. 2.5-star fight, perfectly solid. OVE got in a ton on Lashley before Cage made the save, ran wild, and won the fight. The post-match looks to set up maybe a Lashley and Cage feud down the road. Oh my goodness, would that be hella fun? With those two big men. And then from there, the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship, the Global Championship, whatever you want to call it. Austin Aries, Johnny Impact. Winner of the match in 18 minutes and 9 seconds, and still the global champion, Austin Aries. 3 3/4 to 4 stars. Very good main event. And for their first fight, they delivered. The action was great. They mixed in some really good near falls and Shakespearean drama, had an overall hot closing stretch to finish it off. Most importantly, no nonsense, no BS finish. Just 2 guys fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship, and a clean finish with a post-match to set up Aries' next challenger, which probably looks to be Alberto El Patron. So 7 3/4 to 8 out of 10. I mean, this was a very good and strong show. Heavy on wrestling with nothing bad. Most of these themed episodes usually feel just like a regular Impact show, but this show felt different in a good way. It felt like a pay-per-view. It felt pay-per-view quality. Good wrestling, and it set up for Cage and Lashley and Aries and Patron. 2 title changes, and the show absolutely flew by, which is always a good thing. Major thumbs up, and I hope they can keep on delivering more shows like this one we had here. I hope you all maybe DVR'd it, because if you did, hang on to it, because that's one you don't want to let go. I'm certainly not going to let that go. It's in my DVR, I'll tell you that. So, very, very well done. 7 3/4 to 8. Now for what's coming up on this week's show, we got Alberto El Patron. He's going to cut a promo, and he's going to call out Austin Aries. Congo Kong and Jimmy Jacobs, they're out for an in-ring segment. A surprise return will happen during this segment. A figure from Impact Past. Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie, they're going to go one-on-one. Matt Sydal cuts a promo, and something interesting is going to happen during that. And then for the main event, the return of Feast or Fired. Rohit Raju, Taiji Ishimori, Trevor Lee, Caleb Connolly, KM, Petey Williams, EC3, Moose, Tyrus, and Eli Drake. So that all goes down Thursday night at APOP Television. So that's going to put the bow on this very long edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in and putting up with our rants and our ramblings. But, these things needed to be addressed. So, all right, MF, right on cue. I know it's up in the air because of the big snowstorm that's coming our way as we speak. So, but if we do have a show tomorrow night, we already know what's going to happen, but set the table for us anyway. When we're going to start this thing and the whole 9 yards.
Well, we're going to start it at 10 o'clock, hopefully. If everything goes the way according to plan, it should start at 10 p.m. on Race Fan 95. And yes, we are going to talk about Fastlane. For the first time ever, the Cerebral Smack Talk is going to have a pay-per-view starting the show. We are going to talk about Fastlane. We're going to talk about SmackDown Live. And then we have basically a Ring of Honor event that went down in Vegas, the anniversary show. Boy, do I got a lot of talk about with that one. That was absolutely insane. 3 great things that happened on that show. Nothing more to say after that. Yeah. 10 o'clock Eastern, Brace Fan 95 tomorrow night. So, Anthony, let's take it home. Hopefully, we do have the show.
Hope so, too. So, that's tomorrow night, Cerebral Smack Talk, immediately following SmackDown Live, if all goes well. That's with MF on Brace Fan 95. Unfortunately, we do not have a docket for Strictly Sports as of yet. I just checked the Facebook page. I do not see a docket whatsoever. So hopefully within the next day or so, Derek and company will have a docket ready to go. I'm guessing maybe NCAA tournament coverage and NHL power rankings. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see what happens. That's Friday night. So then next week, Ridiculously Raw right back here. So as we continue on the road to WrestleMania, so that's it. So until hopefully tomorrow night for Cerebral Smack Talk with MF over on Brace 95. It's your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Floyo here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Edie Woodson and Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up 44 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday, and for all of you who will be affected with this snowstorm, stay safe, stay home, don't go anywhere. That's all I can say on that. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for this real Smack Talk, keep it watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 and YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. And for everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo. So long.